please. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 9th of February. So looking at where we are this morning, firstly let's just have a look at risk elements as normal, risk events that are due out today. Let's do that first actually. Very little actually in terms of risk. We've got crude oil inventories this afternoon at 3:30, which make it give currencies a bit of a kicker. Aside of that, really Canadian Bank of Canada speaking, and for Canada due to speak at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. 5 p.m. Well, that's quite late on in the my trading day. It's out of my trading day. I'm finished by then. But if you're leaving trades open, etc., just be aware. And you've got an FOMC speaker speaking also at 5, due to speak about the economic outlook and monetary policy at an event. Now that might create a bit more volatility, but most of these guys have spoke already as FOMC members, so his bit may already be out there, but either way, volatility. But again, 5 p.m. so a quiet day on the Western Front and the Eastern Front. Let's okay, yields. I just talked about yields. Yields are slightly fractionally down on yesterday, but we're still seeing bond yields, which favours the US dollar. They're still relatively high compared to what we've seen in recent months. So let's have a look at the currencies first, and we can see euro. It's chipping down a little bit. It's not massively off at the moment the last couple of days. Certainly the momentum to the upside was easier than this run to the downside at the moment. We're suggesting that it's just a bit sticky. There's nothing really to drive it. The one thing that sort of goes against a push back to the upside for me a little bit at the moment is the time it's taking. It's taking quite a bit of time. Even if it had come back a bit sharpish, hit the weekly pivot and started bouncing, I'd have thought, oh yeah, right, that's it, we're on for another run up there. But it's just struggling a little bit here. Maybe it's the very fact that there's little news to drive it. There's nothing really changing here. People have digested the data and there's not much to do. That could be it. Now, obviously, I'm on here. I'm just putting the trend line across the highs here, the two highs. It's missing the two out in the middle there, but that's sort of line in the sand full of bullishness for me. Coming down to the hourlies, yesterday I was talking about it needed to be above that trend line. Where were we? We're running across. Yeah, it needed to get back above there to be bullish for me, but it stayed pretty choppy, I think is the term, and looks, well, on its route back south at the moment. The yesterday's lows there and the S1 could be targets in the short term if it continues post 8 o'clock, but as we often see around 8 o'clock, it can completely turn tail. We'll see how things run out there, but for me, for bullishness now, I'm really looking at these highs, this morning's earlier highs here, to see if we get a move above those, and it might be more of a swing move if I get back into that because of what's happened here, this bigger flag on the bigger time frame. But continuation and slowness here may see me get into a swing on the short side. Pound. Horrible couple of days we've seen. Monday, Tuesday, both sort of doji type bars, and well, not really doing too much at the moment. It has tried, well, it's putting higher lows in here and higher highs on this 4 hourly, so it's trying to do something, but not overly convincingly at the moment. When you look at the range it was trading in, it's been sort of a bit range bound. It's broken out through the Asian session of yesterday's highs. It's just broken through yesterday's highs, but not really doing too much at the moment. Just back to its daily pivot, so it's really ticked off. It's hit the R1 almost, and the daily pivot is ticked off the expectations of what I have of a currency on a daily basis. So we'll see. It might get a bounce back up and start shifting back post 8 o'clock, and be sort of with this slightly higher lows, higher highs, and the overall picture. Maybe look at that later to post 8 o'clock, as I said, to get into a trade. Dollar yen, well, same old dollar yen. It's really well, it's been softening here on the dailies. Here you see the high lows, high highs through here. It's just been softening. Range is just tightening and tightening on these bars. We've just sort of and the bars together, and we're just seeing it sort of tightening up here as it runs into these prior highs here. Reaction, bit of a pivotal move there. It could be seeing further downside. It's the big picture looks like it could go further right on the upside. What we're looking at here with this bigger pattern that's sort of sitting there, looks like it's not over, and I think a break back above the highs there looked like an opportunity to push to the next set of highs. It sort of certainly looks like it's in that wave formation. Aussie dollar, if it doesn't do that, I'm not in it. It's easy really, isn't it? Not that I trade it very often. Aussie dollar, well, the Aussie dollar was doing all okay, and then, well, up until last week. This week it's Monday, Tuesday, okay, a bit more bullish. Run into last week's high at the moment, and that's holding us back a tad. It's again though, trend-wise, 4 hourly. Well, this is sort of a bit more bullish. It's higher lows, higher highs. It just looks like it could probably do some more of the same. It has got an untouched daily pivot below, and it has run out of its R1, so range wise it's sort of stifled itself a little bit for me at the moment. But that said, if you're happy with a slightly wider stop, I guess, and a longer term hold, this could have potential. Canadian dollar, another one that's really choking itself. So Monday it looked like it was going to break it, and it eventually break to the bottom there and break through last week's lows, but did it? No. Yesterday it bounced again, and we're seeing it struggle somewhat. It's as I said, last week it spent most of the time in this tight range. This week it looks like it's setting itself up to be in a range again, although he says almost hopeful, and I'm not in the trade, by the way, when I say hopeful. It has eventually, I was doing some work on the Canadian dollar yesterday, just looking some analysis, and so I had it on for quite a long time. So I was thinking, well, it could at some stage break the trend there, and well, it actually probably caught the trend at 1 o'clock in the morning there, the original trend. But it's a little flag. It was a flag, but then it's gone sort of dropped out the bottom. But is that just to confuse people, or is this just the choppiness it's in? Maybe if it can break back above the highs there and push on, it's got an opportunity to get up towards R1 and beyond. It's just so iffy. Okay, that's enough of currencies. Commodities, gold. So gold, once again, put another good showing on yesterday and pushed up further back into 1830. Real pivotal area we've identified on gold. If you go back and look at that number, I mean, okay, you saw the resistance back here and some support back here. It's a key zone here. 1830. Why? I don't know. It just seems as if for a long time back, it seems to be dancing around that sort of number. It's just slightly short of 1830, I should add. At the moment, consolidating around that level, and the way it's been moving, consolidation, you might expect to see a shove at some stage. Hardly setting the world alight, but all the same, actually on here it was there you go. It's a range it had been sitting in previously. Last week's highs sit at 1828, so not far from it. It's got a bit of divergence running at these highs on the 60-minute. Maybe have a bit more of a correction. Daily pivot untouched below, so looking a bit soft where it is. As I said, around that area we often see as I say, it's a bit pivotal. Maybe it will come off it a little bit further. Someone asked me to look at silver just briefly. Then silver, it follows the same sort of route in terms of trend, and obviously not in price. Unfortunately, I've got some in the cupboard. Okay, higher lows, higher highs through here on the 4 hourlies. Bearish engulfing on the 4 hourly here at the moment. Maybe a key reversal bar sort of coming through. So, I don't know if that's just skimmed a divergence on this MACD or not. It looks like it might have just, I don't know. Actually, it doesn't really look like it too much. It looks like that second hump is as bigger than the other, which would be right because price is higher. A bit iffy there though. Same sort of pattern as what we're seeing at the moment. It could just roll back over a bit more. It's got the daily pivot below, and it may just get a bit more correction. But then the overall trend is still up. It could just, I mean, divergences come, they just come back to trend quite often, and then you see a continuation. So there we go. Still looking bullish there. Right, there you go. Tick silver off the box. Didn't mean to add things yesterday when I was asking what you want covered and not covered. But anyway, oil. Oh, never did anything yesterday. I looked at this in the afternoon. Wasn't really going to do anything for me, and it's heading south at the moment. And the more there's sort of talk about deals with Iran and things like this, it takes the heat off it a little bit, I guess. And there was forecasts that I read that there would be surpluses come March time, so we'll see. For now though, as I say, working its way a bit further south, it's taken my thoughts out of the long side for now. I mean, yesterday it was just a mess. I was sort of looking goodness knows how many times I must have been looking. It's tried to do something there on the 2 o'clock bar. It sort of pushed up a little bit higher than the previous bar and just hit the 100 and rolled straight over. So it's looking soft now basically, and as I said, on the smaller time frame it's showing the cracks, lower highs, lower lows, and just looking a bit soft. Yes, daily it still looks bullish, so don't really want to be looking for a longer term short, although perhaps I should be, particularly if it starts breaking the lows here. Right, let's get on, look at the other markets. Cryptos, well, crypto's been doing pretty well. Bitcoin is now back. It's I put a couple of lines on here. I had them on yesterday. It already touched yesterday's, the day before. It already touched the lower of those lines, which was the prior highs here. But it has come up and it's reacted to the previous lows there. That provided a lot of support previously, acted up as a bit of resistance, and it's come off a little bit this morning. But I've got a bit of bullish sort of thoughts here, and certainly a break of that area could see something more. Ethereum, it's broken through most of its low levels. The next trend line trend line resistance point sits there at 34.24. They've got a little bit of movement going for them at the moment. As soon as I've said that, probably these down bars would provide more downside, but Ripple really got the run on Monday. Good follow through yesterday, slowing up a little bit this morning at the moment. Now, as I said, with Bitcoin doing what it's doing here, it might just sort of bring them all down a little bit, but a break back above those lows, it becomes a bit more bullish. It just sort of adds to the upside potential. Okay, that's cryptos for now. Can't go through them all. They're all similar-ish in terms of the direction, etc. Let's have a look at the indices. He says. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so we caught a bounce in the end yesterday, but today it's up fractionally. It still remained bearish on this, lower highs, lower lows. The CSI 300 index still looks soft to me. Nikkei just picked up a little bit. In fact, the Nikkei's showing the more positive potential here. It's turned the corner a little bit, put a higher low in now, confirming with this movement maybe it will move back into zone, get a bit more positive. As well on the sort of Asian markets, let's look across at the Indian market here. Nifty 50, and well, it's got a bit of a bounce as well on its openings and looking a bit more positive. However, I'm sort of still sitting here wondering, well, simply for me, if you were looking at this in a more bigger time frame, a break above this area looks bullish. A break below this area really confirms the wave structure that's sitting there, and so it's sitting in it for effectively what would be a no trade zone on the more longer term picture. Short term, I'm sure there's plenty to be going at. Okay, FTSE's open, so let's have a look. FTSE yesterday managed to pitch through the highs as suspected. It's pulled away, but it's running up there quite quickly, back up there this morning, which suggests, well, it's going to take those highs out. It can't be kept down. DAX trying to get bounced, so much softer than the FTSE in terms of overall picture. I mean, we're looking at previous highs with the FTSE here. We're still close to its previous lows. It's been up this morning and given some back already. CAC looking a bit stronger. A break above, again, you're looking at the wave formation. If you're looking for something more, it becomes certainly more bullish, breaking these this prior high over here around about 71.52. So certainly looking like it's got more scope. Talking of the same sort of picture, we're sitting in a sort of a flaggish sort of pattern at the moment on the S&P minis. Again, a break back above the sort of previous high here, 45.83 ish. Again, could see us running through more positively. Nasdaq looks weaker of these. It may do the same thing. It might eventually get back above here and look like it's on for a more of a continuation pattern, but at the moment, yes, it's doing something, some of the moves, but the better money might be elsewhere. And again, Dow Jones looks better. I mean, it's already pushed up here, becomes more bullish above that this area here, above those highs. What was the high of that? 35,705. So above that area, it becomes more bullish for me. Right, that's pretty much it here. I wish you a great day, and I'll catch you in the morning. Surprise, surprise, as it's a morning outlook. Take care. Have a good day. Bye for now. There we go.